First off, just take a moment and reintroduce yourself to voters who may not know who you are.
Thanks, John. My name's Dan Wright. I'm the Sangamon County State's Attorney.
And tell me, why are you the right person to continue doing this job in this election?
John, it's an honor to serve the people of Sangamon County as State's Attorney. I've been serving in that role since October of 2018. I was appointed by a bipartisan Sangamon County board at that time, and have served in that role since then. I think it's critical that we have a State's Attorney who has recently and actively tried and convicted some of the most violent criminals in our community. I have done that, and I will continue to do that as State's Attorney.
Now, if you are reelected, what will be kind of the focus going forward from here?
I think staying the course in terms of focusing on holding those accountable in our community who choose to commit crimes and standing up for victims, and that's been a priority of mine since I took office, since I came to the State's Attorney's Office as a felony prosecutor, and then was promoted to serve as First Assistant State's Attorney to help run the office, and then appointed again by a bipartisan Sangamon County board to lead the office. One thing I think, just as a basic requirement of our State's Attorney, we really need to have somebody who has recently and actively tried those kinds of violent felony cases, including first-degree murders. And I've consistently done that, and will continue to do that. In addition, we have to have a State's Attorney who reaches out to the community and establishes a broad base of relationships with community stakeholders all across Sangamon County. I have done that. I think that's necessary to build trust with all parts of our community, and I look forward to continuing to do that.
Kind of a question, that with the events going on, there's a lot of civil unrest going on now, and I wanted to get kind of your response to kind of the things going on within, communities around the country, and kind of what you would hope to do to kind of help with those issues as well.
That's a great question, John. I think what is critical is to establish relationships as early and as genuinely, as openly and transparently as possible. And from day one as Sangamon County State's Attorney, I did that, reaching out to groups all over the community to establish that relationship, because when you have a concern about a case or about something going on in your community, you need to know that you can contact the State's Attorney and get a straightforward, honest answer. I may not always agree with folks who reach out and ask questions, because in the end, my obligation is to follow the law, but I think those relationships established before there's a concern about the status of something going on in our community is really critical to maintain that trust in the State's Attorney's Office.
So another question I have for you as well, and this one's more for the voters as well. Some may be wondering, what credentials does Dan have that make me so I should vote for him? Why should I vote for him? We know that you were appointed by that bipartisan board, but why should what experience do you have in your life that helps you do this job the right way?
I think that's exactly the question that voters should be asking. I think it's a great thing that voters in Sangamon County have a choice in this election for who should serve as their State's Attorney. I'm confident that I'm the most qualified and the right person to continue in this critical role. I've been a practicing attorney for 15 years. I was a partner in a local law firm served there for just about 13 years, and then I had a dream to serve the people of Sangamon County as a prosecutor. And John Millhiser gave me that opportunity to come to the State's Attorney's Office, not in any important, supervisory role, but just as a felony prosecutor. Come over and start trying the tough cases, the violent felonies, to help keep our community safe, and stand with law enforcement to help hold those accountable who would commit crimes in our community. I did that trying, violent felonies like armed robberies, home invasions, aggravated domestic battery, exploitation of the elderly, and first-degree murder cases successfully against some of the most talented criminal defense attorneys in the area. And I was then promoted to First Assistant State's Attorney, served in that capacity for about a year, again, continued to actively try violent felony cases, and then had the great privilege to be appointed by a bipartisan Sangamon County board, which was a unanimous vote, again, Republicans and Democrats, there's no place for politics in the state's attorney's office. Unfortunately, we have to run for election to serve the people. But I'm proud of that, the bipartisan basis in which I came into office by a vote of a bipartisan Sangamon County board. Also very, very honored to have endorsements from a broad base of business and community leaders in our community, in addition to former members of the judiciary and former state's attorneys. So that's something that's very meaningful to me, and I think should be to the voters. But again, I think a key consideration for voters is that which one of the candidates has had the most recent and active experience in the arena, so to speak, trying those violent felony cases, because the people of Sangamon County, that is an essential requirement for someone serving in that role.
Perfect. And that's our time. I did want to give you just one extra question. I always ask one extra. Kind of if you had like a closing statement to voters, what would you say?
That's an excellent question. I would say it has been an honor. It's been the honor of my professional life to serve the people of Sangamon County every single day as your state's attorney. It is a unique role in that you have the ability to come into the office every single day, whether large or small, and make a positive impact on our community. I think it's important to have a state's attorney who's recently and actively been in the trenches in the Sangamon County Courthouse trying violent felonies, including first-degree murders. I've done that. I'll continue to do that. And we also have to have a state's attorney who has established a broad base of relationships with community stakeholders all across Sangamon County to establish trust. That's just a fundamental requirement of the person that is serving as state's attorney. That's of deep importance to me. I'll continue to do that as well. And I just look forward to the opportunity to continuing to serve. And I humbly ask for the votes of each citizen of Sangamon County.